It's the 2nd of May, about 20 past 11. Let's go and have a quick plot tour. Flowers looking good at the front now. There's several more to come up at the back and a few seeds to come up as well. Roses have started to grow without the deer eating them. And that cherry tree there is the biggest cherry tree I've ever seen in my life. And the blossom on it was absolutely fantastic. I think I've got a video of that, so I'll put it on. How good is that? Wow. There are hundreds of cherries on there as well, but the problem is the birds eat them all. No humans can reach it, so you'd have to get a ladder and climb up the tree to get the cherries, but they are on there, and it's nice for the birds. Where the fruit is, I've actually cut a path through it now, and I'm leaving the sides to grow long. I'll be putting some seeds in later this year, so that next year we can put some plugs in the grass, and hopefully we'll have a nice wild flower meadow in the next couple of years. Now, I did take a video of these fruit trees when they're in blossom, and they were amazing. So let's just have a quick look at that. Walk into the miniature fruit tree area. Discovery. This one's one of my favourites. Blenheim Orange, and I like John of Gold as well. Even though I'm not a big apple eater, my brother has all of them, in fact. This one, look at the beautiful pink flowers. It's called Bloody Ploughman. It's not a great cropper, even though there's all of that blossom on there. It's not a brilliant cropper. You either get very small apples or very few apples. But maybe if there's a lot of small apples, I need to thin them, and then they will grow bigger. So maybe we should try that this year. Lots of different varieties, as I said: Discovery, Blenheim Orange, John of Gold, Beauty of Bath, Rosetta, James Grieve, Laxton Superb, Queen Cox. So lots and lots of different varieties. I think there's probably 3 Discovery and 3 Bloody Ploughman, and all the rest are all different varieties. This one isn't any good, is it? I've scratched that off, and it looks like it is probably dead now. I think there was an ant's nest underneath there. I think it's gone under the roots and disturbed them, and just killed it. So I'll have to get another one for that at some point. These are the miniature ones that are grown. Lovely little miniature trees there. A lot of these are miniature, but they're extremely miniature. So I think that's about it for today. Nice walk around the fruit trees, and they smell absolutely fantastic and full of bees. So until next time, bye bye. I've grown peas before, but in moderation, just at wigwams usually, 1 or 2. I've decided to grow some in earnest this year. So I've set some drills out. I watch, as a reference, Mr. Smith's Vegetable Garden on YouTube. Jeffrey Smith, he's one of my garden heroes. And he suggested spacing them out instead of just throwing them into the drill. For a couple of reasons. It reduced pests and diseases, especially powdery mildew. And then I've put some fish blood and bone on the soil that I'm going to refill the hole with. So let's get on with it. One other thing as well, he did say about sowing a row of spares next to it as well, just in case some of them don't come up, and then you can fill with the spares you got. So let's get on with it. I've grown an extra row of peas down there, so that if any are missing I can replace them. If everything else comes up, then I'll use them for pea shoots in salads. Look, there's my helper over there. Not doing a lot, is she? I got to the allotments early this morning, and what was waiting for me? Loads of horse manure. So I barrel load about 10 lots of it down and filled the compost bin by about 3/4. That will eventually drop to less than half there, but it's a great start for next year's compost, and I'll show you what I'll do with it. There's a very friendly pigeon there who is now going to be on YouTube. He's eaten all the bird seed from the feeders, which is a good thing. If he doesn't, then the rats will have it and the rats will move in, so I don't want that happening. So I'll just let him get on with what he's doing. I know he's gone behind there, in between the fences, which he's going to get stuck if he's not careful. I don't know. This is a greenhouse. It looks a lot better. Now I've put the paving slabs down and I've put a shelf in there, and I've put the fish boxes on the outside, and they're doing a brilliant job of propagating everything. Move the fence from the inside there to the outside now, so I've got more room to manoeuvre in the middle. I've stacked up all the hazel up there nice and tidy in that pallet area. I've moved the 2 plastic bins there. Goes all the way around, and then at the front there's a little gate which I need to attach properly. I've only put wire around it for now. The hinges are a bit rusty, so I need to come up with another way of doing it, but it's a job well done. Quick look at my dad's shed. The potatoes are doing tremendously well. I didn't think they would. First time I've ever grown early potatoes like this. I think they're going to start flowering in the next week or two, and I think they'll be ready in about 3 or 4 weeks. So if that, so let's just wait and see. Runner beans have started to come up. Some obviously quicker than others. Tomatoes and dahlias. I've got so many, and I've got nowhere to put them. Anagallis are the most beautiful flowers. Cosmos. Loads of chili and peppers. I've got jalapeno, and the peppers are yellow, red and green. I've got some taters in borders there as well. They need to hurry up and finish, because I want to put tomatoes in. You can see how many tomatoes I've got, and how many chilies, and more tomatoes. And the strawberries have all flowered, and they're starting to bear fruit. This one here had the most beautiful pink flowers. I got that from Garden Organic. I've had it for about 5 years, but I've never had a strawberry off it yet. Let's wait and see if we get one this year. More tomatoes, more tomatoes. Beetroot we've been eating. It's going to seed, so I'm going to pull it all up today and try and get at least 1 or 2 tomatoes in. Carrots are nearly ready, but they're not going very orange. They're very light coloured, so I don't know why. I'll have to read up on that and try and find out. More potatoes, loads of tomatoes. They're all ready to go in there. Let's go in the greenhouse. Look at the size of that cabbage. That's really hearting up as well. Definitely going to grow them in a greenhouse again next year, next winter. Beetroot going to seed, ready to take out. And we are getting a meal off these beetroot, by the way. The roots are not massively big, but you can get, you know, several meals out of them, so it's well worth doing. French beans, all looking good. Cucumber, courgettes. I'll put some more courgettes in there because a couple of them rotted. Got loads more seeds in there. Once they all come up, I don't know where they're going to go. More tomatoes. Lots of beetroot. Sweet corn started coming up. More tomatoes. And the kale as well has done really good in the greenhouse. We've been eating that for a while. It's very nice. A few lettuce in there, more tomatoes and potatoes. Forget-me-nots are fantastic. There's some white ones as well as blue ones. I don't know if I've seen that before. And I've left the dandelions as well for the bees. So they've got a choice there of what they want. Onions radar have started to grow, but I thought they would have been bigger by now. But let's hope they start taking off soon. We'll start getting bigger soon anyway. Spring onions, I left them all winter in there, doing well. Little miniature raspberry. Lots of seeds, vegetables and flowers. Lots and lots of stuff. Where's it all going to go? I don't know. Been doing some weeding today with several different tools. So I've been using this on some plots. It's better than a rake, it goes deeper and it tends to dig out the roots better than a rake does. This one's very good because when you're going backwards and forwards you can also go sideways with it, and it cuts the weeds off in between lines of vegetables. And this one's the best one. I think it's called a speedy hoe. And it's brilliant because it gets in all the tiny little gaps. Fantastic. And finally, a thread hoe. Again, if you've got any small gaps and, you know, you can go in between them. If you've got any smaller gaps than that, you can turn it around and use that side. A thread hoe. It's a fantastic little tool. Just planted some lettuce today. Asparagus lettuce and bijou. Asparagus lettuce is supposed to, I think you pick the leaves off and then eventually it starts going to seed, and when the stalk grows up the middle of the lettuce you're supposed to cut it off and eat it. It's supposed to taste like asparagus, so we'll wait and see. 2 rows of cabbage candice, summer cabbage. I put one in over a month ago and this one I put in last week, so to sort of hopefully get different picking times. I don't want them already at the same time. Just put several plants of cauliflower, candied charm in. Now I will be putting a tunnel net over that as well, but I just thought I'd give them a bit more light just to start them off because they are very small plants. Broccoli, Parthenon. I want to put a few more in here because I want to move that big net over this side today, over it, and then I'm going to move that little net over the little cabbages over there. The leeks have done brilliantly. They got damaged, they got eaten from the inside out, and they got by the allium leaf miner, and they got eaten from the bottom to the top by the leek moth. But they've recovered. I took the rotten bits off the outside, just left them and they started growing again, so I've been eating them for months now. Brussels sprouts, Doric. Never grown this variety before, but I usually grow Maximus, and I am this year, and they're going to go in there. They're going to go in a bit later. But Maximus are a bit small, so I thought I'd try a different variety and see how they turn out. Peas, First time I've grown this sort of pea for years and years actually. I've had some early ones there that were in a gutter. I've put them out. And I put some seeds in and they've started coming out now. 2 lots of support. I've done some twigs at the back and I've done some sort of fencing at the front. But it's really fiddly, the fencing. I don't know if I'm going to do it again next year. Broad beans, 2 lots. First lot there. I've still got a few more plants to go in at the end and I might put some courgettes there as well. And I put some earlier ones in which are already in flower. So hopefully they'll be as good as they were last year. I mean, it's May now and we're still eating broad beans out the fridge that we froze last year. So let's hope it's as good this year. Just dug that area. Lettuce, still got it in the greenhouse and the shed. I put some outside on this plot and the fruit plot, so that's nearly ready now with onions and spring onions. And the spinach we're still eating as well. So still eating a lot of things, and the purple sprouting. The purple sprouting is nearly finished now, but it was absolutely fantastic. About a month ago, 6 weeks ago, something like that. Absolutely outstanding it was. Probably the best purple sprouting we've ever had. And there's just too much to pick. And we're having it between 2 of us. 3, 4, 5, 6 of us eating it. And there's still too much for us. The spring cabbage are starting to heart up. But I need to move this net, so I'm going to have to put a little net over them and hopefully they're sort of heart up and we can have them within the next month. If not, I think I'm going to have to get rid of them because I'm going to need to put the sweet corn there the 1st of June. Them cabbage were the ones that what happened was a pheasant got in the little hole at the back and a fox or a cat chased it in there and attacked it and there's feathers all over the place, and then it run out the front and knocked the net down, and then a pigeon walked in and ate them all. So they haven't done any good at all really, that lot. So what I'm going to do is probably take them out and dig it all over next week. Lots more plants on the table. These are the roses. Last year I got some rose hips and I put the seeds in a seed tray hoping they would come up, and they did. So I've potted them on and they've actually started growing quite well. So I'll do that again next year. They're spare peas. I'm cutting them off the top and using the pea shoots for salads. More beetroots, more onions, some cuttings, spare strawberries, more onions at the back. If we go to the fruit plot, we'll see that we've got all onions on this side and potatoes in that side. 3 varieties, 3 rows of Picasso, which are everybody's favourite down this allotment. Charlotte, 3 rows of them, which are my favourite. And 1 row of International Kidney, which most people know as Jersey. Flower borders are looking fantastic. The daffodils there have been there ever since I can remember, and I remember my dad giving my mum daffodils every year, and I gave Joe some this year, and Alfie gave his mum some as well. So we're carrying on the daffodil tradition. Buddleias, Black Prince, yellow one, Buddleia globosa, I can't remember what it's called. And there's a cutting that I took from last year. This is another one. It's an orange one, can't remember the name. And in between we've got asparagus, which we have been picking. I put some parsnips in there, carrots in there, which are coming up. Parsnips in there, carrots in there. Sieved the soil, mixed it with sand, and hopefully they'll all turn out straight. comfrey. These Welsh onions are doing really, really well now. They look like they were dead to me in the winter, but they've all come back and they all look like they're flowering. I'm not going to touch them because I want them to spread. Now I don't know if they're the same as the leeks where you can pick them off and actually plant them in a seed tray, so I might have a look on YouTube later on, see if it's possible. If not, I'm just going to leave them because I think they bow their heads and they touch the soil with the weight of the seed head, and I think they seed themselves anyway. So I'm just going to leave that till that's nearly full in the next 2 or 3 years, and then we can start picking them as spring onions then. 3 rows of carrots, 2 of parsnip in here. Oh, and some radish I forgot about down there, which are coming up already. Now, there's been a lot of changes to the fruit plot. Alfie's done himself a little border here. They're all the apple blossom petals on there. So we just need to screw that in, and I think we're going to put some pumpkins in there, ready for Halloween. He's made a little den, and we've put a little swing up as well for him, which is too big, he can't get on it. So yeah, I wanted to put it somewhere else. He decided he wanted it here. He chose the wood, how it should be built, and we all done it together. And I must say that his plan was better than mine, and it's worked out really well. And he loves coming up in here and playing in it. He's also built a bug hotel. He'd done that all himself, and he's built a little bird bath for the birds and for the bees. Someone gave me a lovely water butt the other day. So I think what I'm going to do is put some soaker hose in the greenhouse and put that from outside and feed the water inside. So we'll see how it works. And the other day I was going to work, and outside a clothes bank I seen a kitchen sink. So I thought, wow, that'll make a great potting table, potting bench. So you could put the soil in that side, you know, put a plug in and put the pots on this side. Or maybe you could even have it to wash up your coffee cups and that, if you have a cup of coffee or something to eat at the allotment. But wherever we're going to use it for, it's going to come in really useful. I've put a couple of new apple trees here, a Discovery and a John o' Gold. Now, I double dug this plot. Well, I took out the hazels first, then I double dug it and put a trench in with manure in the bottom, and then I rotivated it, which was really, really hard work. Now, if I've got a video on it, which I think I may have, I'll put it on now. Right, that's the first trench dug, but it's been really, really hard work, and it's not because you know, you're just digging a trench. It's because of the roots underneath that are left from the hazel. I mean, look at them. Try and dig them up and you just can't do it. It's impossible. So I had to get a little hand trowel and loosen all the soil to do that. Now I'm going to have to cut them all out. So it's really, really difficult. So I'm thinking of a plan B, but maybe just turn the soil over and put compost in when I put the potatoes in. Because eventually these roots will rot. It'll take a few years, but they will go. So, and then maybe I should double dig it then. So I'll have to have a little think. That's the first one done. Only another 9 to go. What transformation there's been over the last year. I mean, this had a really old rotten cherry tree on. It was so much rubbish, glass and everything there. It's all been cleared, it's all been dug. The shed's been built and it looks absolutely fantastic. I'll have to try and put a video together of everything we've done there. So that's one for the future. So anyway, it's time to finish up today. Get a few jobs before Joe and Alfie come down. So I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.